Okay. All right. Patricia, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Let's do this bio thing like all good hosts do. Patricia Carragon received the 2025 Best of the Net nomination for her haiku Cherry Blossoms from Poets Wear Prada. She hosts the Brownstone Poets and is the editor-in-chief of its annual anthology. She is the editor of Sense and Sensibility Haiku Journal and listed on the Poet Registry for Haiku Foundation. Her jazz poetry collection, Stranger on the Shore, from Human Era Publishing, is forthcoming this year. Her latest novel is Angel Fire from Alien Buddha Press 2020. Her books from Poets Wear Prada are Meowku 2019 and The Cupcake Chronicles 2017. Her book Innocence is from Finishing Line Press in 2017. My friend, our friend, the supporter and friend of Caps, Patricia Carragon.
Hey, everybody. I'm going to be, speaking of the devil, I'm going to be reading from my upcoming collection of jazz poetry, Strange on the Shore. It's in the process, working on the cover, hopefully by the end of the year, just like everything else. Everything is delayed, but we're going to have fun tonight. Okay, take 5. Think of Mad Men. And that really inspired me. You can thank YouTube as long as it's still free. It gave me a lot of inspiration to write these jazz pieces. Take 5, inspired by the Dave Brubeck Quartet. Her humdrum week dies on Friday at 5. It's time to escape the glass tower, the typing pool, the gossiping and backstabbing, the too much coffee and cigarettes, the office jockey smirks, and the boss's sexual pantomime. But she needs to take 5, a few extra drags outside the powder room. Her job isn't over yet. She'll need a quick fix of rouge, powder, and lipstick. A copious dash of Yardley's English lavender should diminish the aquanet spritz. She'll adjust her pencil skirt before the elevator doors open. Feel freedom's hot breath beyond the revolving door. Ready to take 5, she lights another cigarette before boarding the IND to Greenwich Village and Harold, her bespectacled saxophonics from the Bronx. Youthful excitement meets the rush hour. Like drum beats, the subway's pulse moves fast, but happiness moves faster. It's getting late, and she must hurry. She's almost 23, and people will talk if she doesn't settle down, retire a Smith Corona, and business chic. A Betty Crocker recipes and a gingham apron, raise 3 kids, and wait on a husband who might be late again. In a smoke-filled room, she forgets about her life, takes 5 for a cigarette, orders a glass of wine. She won't have to douche tonight. Harold has a rubber, worry-free sex until she meets the right one. But she's not a virgin and might have a problem. She takes 5 for another cigarette, drinks another glass of wine, listens to Harold make love to his sax as he makes eyes at the sassy brunette. Like drum beats, her anxiety moves fast, but happiness moves faster. It's getting late, and she must hurry. But a stranger comes to her table, lights her cigarette, and buys her a drink. The conversation is getting deeper, and life slows down for the next 11 hours. This one's inspired by Ella Fitzgerald. These foolish things remind me of you. At a bar off Waverly Place, I sat by myself, imbibed gin and tonic thoughts, stared at solitary candles and coupled daffodils inside glass jars. The piano by the corner, unoccupied. If Keys could recollect, would they play it against Sam, me as Garbo, you as Crosby, never Bergman or Bogart? Cigarette butts kissed by lipstick. Reminiscence rose from ashtrays. The bartender knew better, paid attention to 20-somethings instead. My mind time traveled, an airline ticket to Capri, paradise lost on a sunny beach. Gardenia essence hugged our pillows. that trip to Ile-de-France, the midnight train to Paris. Foolish things burned strawberry incense. My heart flew too high and fell. Loneliness lit another pipe dream and cigarette. Your ghost reborn in smoke. Thank you. If I could write a book. Sally lit another Marlboro, stared at her Smith Corona, drank sweet Passover wine, broke her writer's fast on Kingsbridge Road. Her Elijah never came, dumped her for a Scarsdale beauty. Alone at the age of 35, sexuality craved attention. The RCA turntable in motion, fingers pounded to the beat and heat of Miles Davis and his quintet. Like the song, if she could write a book, she would. Keys couldn't keep up with Miles and his band. Her past and present didn't make sense. Nouns argued with pronouns. Verbs cried for help. Adverbs were nowhere to be found. Ideas gone askew, paperback nonsense scattered by her feet. She finished her wine, put out her last cigarette, said goodnight to Miles and his quintet. She ripped her unfinished page from a Smith Corona and turned off the light. Let me get it. Solitude. Solitude plays film noir. The haute couture wears despair like satin pumps. She is Marlene Dietrich. Elegant black feathers cast a veil across her face. She walks beside me, extends in sunlight, moves inward at night. She is like me, can't survive without your support. She sits beside me, explains that not all firestorms are alike, that dark rainbows come in various shades of lies and abuse. Billie Holiday sings a silent prayer for you to return. The room's stillness collides with the one within. A storm brews between the past and present. Solitude argues with night, and the gap between logic and absurdity makes this room smaller than it is. And let's hear from Nina Simone. Don't let me be misunderstood. Life has its problems. You claim I'm part of them. Say the wrong words at the wrong time and place. Look around you. Am I responsible for your shortcomings, frustrations, loss, and outrage? You saw yourself in the mirror, broke into 1,000 regrets, needed me to pick up these pieces, carry each one as my responsibility. Don't let me be misunderstood when I say I'm not your lover's keeper. Every rose petal inside this mattress is making room for 1,000 thorns. I'm only human, and the bed I've made is now yours. One's for Kitty Callan. Little things mean a lot. Slow and steady, the old turntable waltz. Her favorite chanteuse sang little things mean a lot. She never wanted diamonds or pearls. She liked it when he blew her a kiss or touched her hair. Little things meant a lot. A walk in the park, a love song at night, a glass of California wine. She would smile at dogs, feed the stray cats, let the summer rain soak her to the skin. Slow and steady, the old turntable waltzed. Her favorite chanteuse sang, little things mean a lot. But she was gone, and his grief had no place to go. Her cat kept time with the music, purring as she rubbed against him. He blew her a kiss, whispered, Kitty, come to Daddy. The summer rain danced without end. Ruby, my dear. Ruby believed that the past lived in air particles, that walls had eyes and ears, a black and white movie invisible to all except her. Ghosts of former residents, battles and loveless marriages and family disputes, fruitless dreams of the Irish sweepstakes, breadwinners' salaries to pay bookies and barkeepers' rents. From the collapsed kitchen ceiling, a leak's a cappella rhythm banged inside a plastic pail. The voice of angry water sang about accumulated disrepair. Ruby's mama restrained her tears, a victim of systemic neglect. No family to fall back on, and her foster parents never cared. Her husband disappeared, left her to deal with life on her own. She had to be strong, had a daughter to raise, worked 2 jobs, long hours, menial pay. Sacrificed her daughter's needs, not enough to feed her landlord's greed. Government assistance had holes in its pockets, and she considered herself lucky to be eligible. She immersed herself in jazz CDs instead of crack. Monk would take the coal train, Grice would ride his Saxon more. Jazz from an earlier time named her daughter Ruby to honor Monk. She immersed herself into air particles. Ruby studied her mother's expression, found strength in her eyes, listened to the leak become jazz, let crayons recite her stories inside a thick spiral notebook. Thank you. Early autumn. October at midpoint. This is for the season that's coming up now. October at midpoint. Brooklyn in seasonal transition. Summer trees wear highlights of gold and yellow, reddish orange, or russet brown. Cool air tingles my fingers that snap photos of ghouls and witches amid pumpkin patches. From a passing car, I hear Ella Fitzgerald sing Early Autumn. Walk a few more blocks before rains return and think of things best kept in the attic. Like why my thoughts wear code orange and why you can't touch me, hear me, or even see me. Twilight time, Spy by the Platters. Twilight casts spells, scatters pink, orange, red, gold onto short-waved blue sky. With colors in turmoil, it must hurry, announce day's end. Quiet, gradual, not to disturb sun's departure. Blue to deepen night's shadow, and a curtain scattered in stars, crowned by moon. I cast spells, scatter manifestations draped in pink, orange, red, gold, onto short-waved blue incense. With colors in turmoil, I must hurry, announce intentions at day's end. Quiet, gradual, not to disturb sun's departure. Blue to deepen your shadow, and a bed scattered in stars, crowned by moon. I have 2 more to go. Wildest Whim. This is the one that got a Pushcart nomination 2024 from the Rainbow Project. Thank you, Roxanne and Jack Cooper. Do you hear the wind? See that scarlet leaf dance on concrete. I am that wind. I am that leaf. I am that dance. In the distance, Miss Simone sings about spring and kisses. In a dervish trance, you cling to that leaf and brace the wind. The wind is wild, and logic and fear surrender to oneness. The wind is love, and love is the light that has no end. Thank you. And finally, another Simone piece, inspiration, Feeling Good. Your sequestered hell lives in the subconscious, confines you inside flesh and bone. You feel uncomfortable, can't handle the stranger from within. Empathy sends another message. You read it, see yourself behind your face. Outside the window, a new day rises. The season's changing. Birds know this as well as buds on trees and fish in the bay. Dragonflies and butterflies, spontaneous and upbeat. The sun warms the promenade for lovers to walk again. The scent from grass and pine needles bring you closer to nature. By the Brooklyn Bridge, the East River sparkles like stars. You're feeling good again. A gentle breeze taps your face. Life has 9 lives. Enjoy your freedom while it lasts. I want to give a special thanks to Ron Bremner, who inspired me to start writing jazz poetry, and this is the future. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mike. And
Well
thank you.
done. Thank you. How everybody unmute yourselves. A few kind words. That was excellent. Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you, Patricia.
It's wonderful.
Beautiful.
Amazing,
I
Patricia.
love this collection.
Amazing.
Thank you. Now they get the book out.
Mm.
It's the process.
Hmm.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Look
Could
at
it be an audio book?
No.
It's still in the process. What do you call that? Human Error Publishing. So hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have the book, the physical. I don't even know how much it's going to cost. So it's in the process. At least I got a publisher.
Have you thought about an audio book on top of it?
I'm not good. I'm lucky I made it through tonight.
Yeah, but you did great. That was awesome.
Thank you. I don't always.
Yeah,
Thank you so
I
much.
think it would be fun.
Unless I have somebody else, maybe have AI do it, so some sexy voice, some
No.
guy, whatever, gal.
No, it'd have to be your voice. Yeah.
See? Yeah, see? You're
There's
almost-
conviction in voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that was Patricia Carragon. Patricia, you want to say a few words about Brownstone? I mean, I know most people know about it, but go ahead.
Okay, we're on still on hiatus until October 25th. We're gonna have, that'll be our last reading before we have the official the anthology reading. Well, the anthology reading is also delayed. So I'll hopefully have everything done by, hopefully that'll be coming before the month ends. Okay, I have the Brownstone reading. That will be October 25th. And we're gonna have Alan Shimerzian, Elizabeth Moss, Phil Linz, and Bertha Rogers reading, and of course the open mic. And hopefully, anyway, I will be on the 21st of September at the Brooklyn Book Festival every year. So I'll be there. Hopefully I'll have my anthologies by then for Brownstone Poets. I'll have my old books. I should put the books on in the chat room.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So hopefully I'll have it for the Brooklyn Book Fair. Everything is delayed. So but we'll get there
We'll get there.
eventually.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Our next featured poet, playwright, songwriter, and Canem co-founder Cornelius Eady was born in Rochester, New York in 1954 and has just retired from his position as professor of English and J.C. Hodges Chair of Excellence at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. In addition to his teaching duties at UT from 2021 to 2022, he served as interim director at Poets House in New York. He is the author of several poetry collections, including Victims of the Latest Dance Craze, winner of the 1985 Lamont Prize, The Gathering of My Name, nominated for a 1992 Pulitzer Prize in Poetry, Brutal Imagination, and Hard-Headed Weather. He wrote the libretto to Deidre Murray's opera Running Man, a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize in Theater in 1999, and his verse play Brutal Imagination won the Oppenheimer Prize in 2001. Eady's pandemic folk song project Don't Get Dead, recorded with his trio, was released in 2021 by June Appel Recording. His work and songs have been featured on NPR, BBC Radio 4, and the PBS NewsHour. His awards include fellowships from the NEA, the Guggenheim Foundation, and the Rockefeller Foundation, and Lifetime Achievement Awards in Poetry from the Poetry Foundation, the National Book Foundation, Brooklyn Poets, Poets and Writers Foundation, Furious Flower Foundation, and the Lannan Foundation. And what the hell, we'll give him a CAPS prize too, or just on top of it. Let's welcome for his first appearance here for Calling All Poets, Mr. Cornelius Eady. Take it away, Cornelius.
Great. Thanks for that introduction. Every time I hear these things, now that I'm 71, it makes us feel old, you know? I've been around, right? But it's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really glad to be sharing the evening with my students, my UT students, who are going to amaze you very soon, very quickly when I get out of the way. But I thought I'd go ahead and sort of bounce off of what Patricia did, and read some jazz poems and some music poems to see what we come up with. And I'm going to go through a few books. This is from my second book on Fictions of LA's dance craze. It's called Jazz Dancer. I have a theory about motion. I have a theory about the air. I have a theory about main arteries and bass lines. I have a theory about Friday night. Just a theory, mind you. About a dry mouth and a certain kind of thirst and a once-a-month bulge of money in a working pair of pants. I have a theory about kisses. The way a woman draws a man across a dance floor like a ship approaching a new world. I have a theory about space and what's between the space, and an idea about words, a theory about balance and the alphabet, a theory concerning electricity and the tendons, a hunch about long glances from across a ballroom, even though there's a man on her arm, even though there's a woman on his arm, and fire and the ocean, stars and earthquakes, explosions as sharp as new clothes off the rack. When I leap, brushes straight, sorry. Yes, so I'm somehow off today, so I'm gonna have to go to this a little differently, okay? We'll go back a couple stanzas. An idea about words, a theory about balance and the alphabet, a theory concerning electricity and the tendons, a hunch about long glances from across a ballroom, even though there's a man on her arm, even though there's a woman on his arm, and fire and the ocean, stars and earthquakes, explosions as sharp as new clothes off the rack. When I leap, brushes strike the lip of a cymbal. When I leap, a note cuts through glass. When I leap, a thick finger dreams on a bass string, and all that sweat, all that spittle, all those cigarettes and cheap liquor, all that light-hearted sass and volcanism, all that volatile lipstick, all that cleaves the air the way a man and woman sweet talk in a bed. When I leap, I briefly see the world as it is, and as it should be, and the street where I grew up, the saxophones, kisses, and mysteries among the houses, and my sister, dressing in front of the mirror, a secret weapon of sound and motion, a missionary in the war against the obvious. That one was a second take. It was kind of like, because like what you do when you get in the studio and you're working on a song, and then suddenly you're in the song, and suddenly you got taken. I'll take it back from that second. I'll take it back from that last stanza. Oh, so there you go. This next one is called Alabama, circular 1963, about by John Coltrane. But shouldn't this state have a song? Long, gliding figures of my breath, lost. Somebody can't sing because somebody's gone. Somebody can't sing because somebody's gone. Shouldn't this landscape hold a true anthem? What you can't do, whom you can't invent, where you can't stay, why you won't keep it. But shouldn't this state have a song? And shall we call it, My Face Will Murder Me? And shall we call it, I'm Not Waiting? Leadbelly. You can actually hear it in his voice. Sometimes the only way to discuss it is to grip a guitar as if it was somebody's throat and pluck. If there were a ship off of this planet, an ark where the blues could show its other face, a street where you could walk, just walk, without dogged air at your heels, at your back, don't you think he'd pick it? Meanwhile, here's the tune. Bad luck, empty pockets, trouble walking your way with his tin ear. Thelonious Monk. Now this is written, I had a line in an early draft of this poem that was, the motion frozen in these skyscraper, it could be sung. Because I was trying to equate Thelonious's music to modern architecture. And then I read the poem, that draft of the poem at a prison workshop. And after the reading, some convict, a big guy, came up to me and said, like that poem about Thelonious Monk. But you know, of course, how he did it. Now, you get these, sometimes you get these kind of weird kind of moments as a writer, as a reader, as a Black writer, because you know, I didn't know how he did it. You know? And I'm being confronted by this guy, and so you have a little moment. Do you pretend, do you fake, and then get you know, shown up and get beaten up? Or do you simply just own up to the fact that you don't know? And so I owned up to this, I don't know. I don't know how I did. So the convict said to me, he said, I know Thelonious Monk. I lived in Thelonious Monk's neighborhood. And I'd see Thelonious Monk, he'd be walking down the street. Thelonious Monk would be walking down the street. And then he'd see a lamppost. And he'd go over to a lamppost. He'd put his ear against the lamppost and he'd listen to the hum. And then he'd go home and he played the hum. Now, it's one of those great stories about, is that true? Does it need to be true? It's part of what I consider mythology of music, mythology of jazz, things that might as well have been, given their personality and their music. So I changed the line, the lamppost. Thelonious Monk. I know what to do with math. Listen to this. It's arithmetic, a soundtrack. The motion frozen in these lampposts, it can be sung. I can lift away its logic, make it spin like an orbital satellite, find gambling's true pitch. It can be played. Adventure, the trying of patience, holding back, holding up, laying out, stop time, slow motion, time travel, space, walking. It can be splintered, strained through the fine mesh of a second. Now I try a few bars of what's next. Run it over my hands, ignite it, make the fire sound like April in Paris. William Carlos Williams didn't like jazz. He once claimed in an interview. The good doctor's reaction to it, a bit like a hand retracting from a slim volume of 20th century verse. In other words, good intentions, but what does this yak have to do with me? This you understand from a person who listened to an industrial river, forced a painter's brush to give up its low animal noise, broke trees into scents. Why was I born? A duet between John Coltrane, and Kenny Burrell. So why, asked the guitarist, and the saxophonist, a genius, a lover, sidesteps the question, blows a kiss instead. Then they both begin to speak like bourbon being poured into a glass at which bar? The eternal one, bathed in the open light of the test pattern, the one where the phone booths are all functional, but so better here than your shitty apartment. His, her set on the wash sheets until wash day, perhaps longer. Better here than finding lipstick on a bathroom glass, his brand of cigarettes on the dresser. Their melody is the touch you now wish you'd never learned. The caress of fingers and breath that promised. Promise. What hurts is beautiful. The blues of the lyric. Photo of Miles Davis at Lenny's on the Turnpike, 1968. New York grows slimmer in his absence. I suppose you could also title this picture of Miles, his leathery squint, the grace in his fingers, a sliver of the stuff you can't get anymore. As the rest of us wonder, what was the name of the driver of that truck? And the rest of us sigh, death is one hell of a pickpocket. Open Nina Simone. Nina's Blues. Your body, hard vowels, and a soft dress is still. What you can't know is that after you died, all the Black poets in New York City took a deep breath and breathed you out. Dark corners of small clubs, the silence you left twitching on the floors of the gigs you turned your back on, the balled up fist of notes flung angry from a keyboard. You won't be able to hear us try to etch what rose off your eyes, from your throat. Out you bleed, not as sweet or sweaty through our dark fingertips. We drum rest. We drum thank you. We drum stay. This is another one for Billy. And this actually comes from again, about jazz mythology. Billy died in Metropolitan Hospital here in New York, and she was a drug addict. And excuse me, the story goes that Billy came to the hospital with money strapped to her thigh in order to pay her pusher to give her some drugs. And someone told the cops found out, and she died handcuffed to her deathbed. Now, I was teaching at Stony Brook, and one of my colleagues, Roger Rosenblatt, told me another variation to the story. And this variation is that Roger's father was a doctor at Metropolitan Hospital, and he was there when Billy was wheeled in, and they all know she was dying. And according to Roger, his father gave her drugs to ease her pain. So, in any event, no matter whether it was just for one thing or the other, in the end, she still ends up being handcuffed to the bed. Maybe one day I'll write the other variation to that story. Billie Holiday, handcuffed to her deathbed. Maybe these cops think if they can crush her soul, it will not fly. Or if there is a pearly gate, these cups will tip the angels this is a low-class gal, even when she sings. Heaven as a suburban convent. Heaven as a Greyhound's Mississippi back seat. Heaven where no one drinks after a black lip sips the cup. Billy dozes, half free, and when she wakes, there's a bracelet. Her wrists married to the law, to the bed, to the man that whispers, I'll never let you go. Salty gal, with your cigarette-ruined voice, with your fuck you ways. Don't rise too quick. Don't rise so easy. Don't rise without heartbreak. Don't rise. I read like two more. Goodbye, Pork Pie Hat. This is about Lester Young. After he died, I mean, he had this thing of wearing a hat, pork pie hat. That was his signature wardrobe. And there's a great thing about videotape. Lester Young played with Billie Holiday for a while. Then they broke up those rumors that they were romantically involved, and then they weren't. But anyway, they didn't see each other for a while. And then CBS, back in the days when the major networks felt they had a responsibility to televise the arts before PBS showed up, they had this show called The Sounds of Jazz, and they tried to find the best contemporary players and put them in a show. And it's still, you could find the DVD of it out there. And this is a reunion. It was a reunion for Billie Holiday and Lester Young, and they do this song called "Fine and Mellow." And they play it. It's beautiful. Billie, at that point in her life, as people who follow Billie's career or life, knows towards this end of her life, her voice was a hit or miss. Sometimes she could hit and stay in tune. Sometimes she couldn't. Stay in pitch. Sometimes she couldn't. This time she could. And it's a beautiful, like 5-minute take. Beautiful, and it's on tape. You can see it. After the take is done, you see them talking to each other. They keep the candles rolling. You see them talking to each other for a little bit. Then you see them walking out to the street, which is probably West 57th Street or West 51st 2nd Street. And the doors open. You see them there, and then they go opposite ways, and that's the last time they see each other in the world, in their lives. Goodbye, Pork Pie Hat. Charlie Mingus wrote this mournful goodbye, had the horns sound like a room filled with old men watching the barge slip into the river towards the other side. Lost uncles, fathers, brothers, the stink of tobacco, splash of gin, the coolness some of them carried, the ones we think of when we remember certain diners. Because Lester Young had that sound. You can hear it as he plays with Billie Holiday in a 50s TV studio. Fine and mellow, love, that faucet which turns off or on. How that dumb hope, the baby next time, rises from their lips and tongues and throats. Because Lester soothes the bruises on Billie's voice one last time. They chat, then walk out of the studio into loveless New York, never to meet again. In the elegy, the horns sound like a warm hand clasping a cold one on the cooling board, then letting go. And finally, I'm going to do another Thelonious Monk song. And since I started the reading with a second take, I'm going to read a poem that is about a second take. And this is about a session that Miles Davis and Thelonious Monk and Milt Jackson and some other people played on Christmas Eve, 1954. And they're playing this thing, and Monk is the pianist, and Monk is the pianist, and about to play a ballad. Now, jazz players will tell you that the real test of a player isn't how fast and strong they play, but how well they can play a ballad. And Miles knows how crazy Monk will do a solo. So they start the first take, and you could hear in the background some disturbance. Then you hear Miles' voice rising above it, saying, "Take it all, take it all, take it, take it, cool, lay out." And he's telling Thelonious not to play on this because I don't want you to play on it because you'll mess it up. So there's a kerfuffle, and you hear Miles telling the engineer, get this all down, all of it. There's a cut, then it starts up again, and it's a beautiful take. And Miles and Monk, when he gets to his solo, does what he always does, but it's a beautiful take. So, piano solo, Thelonious Monk on "The Man I Love." On the first take, Miles Davis tells Monk, strange-fingered Thelonious, to shut up, to lay out. It's a ballad. No tinkering brown pixie dust against the groove. No waddling through the measurements the way an albatross slops up to the skies. Miles is a man who was used to having his own way. And if Monk were a woman, who knows where this might end. But then Milt Jackson rethinks the intro. The hushed tones of a man clearing his throat before his chords vibrate in prayer. And these 5 men, who seem to have nothing better to do on Christmas Eve, 1954, get back to the lyric. Love is food, water, air. Lonely sucks. Then from out of the negotiation plinks Monk. Toy piano, that stumble bum bird. The boy who will always grab the wrong crayon. Thank you.
You had the emojis flying there, Cornelius.
That's beautiful.
Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you so much. I know folks want to say a few words, so please do.
Beautiful. That's beautiful, Carmen.
That's beautiful.
Amazing, Cornelius. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Enjoyed it.
Incredible.
I
Thank you so much.
I found no sense in chiming in on the chat because I can't type that fast. The images, the progression, it was just sit back and immerse. And well, thank you for that.
Fabulous reading.
Thank you, Patricia. You gave me the inspiration to freestyle this one, So I decided let's go for it, right? See where it leads us. So thank you. That was totally unplanned. I didn't know which poems I'm going to read next. So thank you for that, for the prompt.
Thank you. You have such a velvety voice. Not like me, like
No, you have a great voice. You're kidding. You don't kid yourself. You have a great reading voice.
Absolutely.
Where do you hear
That was such
the book coming up? That's next Saturday, I think.
that was such a gift. The two of you need to take the show on the road. It's beautiful to hear all of those jazz poems back to back to back. It was just beautiful.
Yes, it was. Thank you, Cornelius. Would you like to introduce your students? You want me to do it?
You should do it. Go ahead. Do it. You should do it.
Oh, sure. I gotta do everything.
Okay. Yeah, you do. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I'm the host. I forgot. So it's
That's
Gabriel.
right. That's the idea.
It's Gabriel, Sandra, and Sam, right? Right?
No, sorry. My name's Shira.
Shira. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, Shira, you go first. 3 poems. Shira Haas, everybody.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I have two poems, and I'm gonna read the first one now. It's called American Summer. American Summer. Everything sensual stings. Each berry a fleeting rasp of syrup, the constant sheen of sweat on our foreheads, tangy as yogurt. Hair singes from our forearms in July, sun drowning us gold and ginger. Warning flares. But the color of love is green, and its smell wreaths into the space between fabric and skin. Precarity, the whistle of a distant mountain. Days shorn with a blade, bright as amber, wood shavings curling on the fire like sleeping children. We think about sleep, about children, as dusk softens into night. Thumb the cheeks of ripe stone fruit until they bruise. Everything happens in front of our faces, but bent away so as not to touch us. Thank you. And this next poem is a sestina after the paintings of Catherine Bradford. If anybody knows Catherine Bradford, she paints like these really colorful, surreal portraits of humans, and they don't really have like distinct features or fingers, and it's like a really dreamlike kind of style. So this is a sestina after her paintings called I Have Found Us a Place. I have found us a place where we can no longer kill each other. Our skin luminous with color, green, magenta, burnt orange. Through no fault of our own, we become memory, outline, textured animals, ink stains blotched with water. Our hands don't have thumbs, so we can no longer open cans of tuna, grab a wrist, or shoot a gun. It would be more of a problem if we needed guns to eat like before, but we aren't hungry. Our skin melts into the sky. We walk around naked in the open, sit with one another, wait for the moon, fat and powder white, to beam us up. A man floats above his bathtub, the water stiffening, growing cold. Women live in the memory of their swimsuits. A man lives in the memory of shooting civilians with his father's gun while his laughing children plunge into clear water. It will never be fair. Two men attempt to wear the skin of a hero and fall flat. Two men attempt to break their turquoise necks and end up kissing under a single spotlight, palms open and useless at their sides. We fling the doors wide open. Mothers wash their daughters' backs clean of memory, and with their teeth peel giant blossoming oranges for only themselves. Children no longer fear the glint of hidden guns. They swing from branches like laundry on fishing line, skin patchworked, iridescent. Boats wait forever, bobbing on the water. We swim slowly now, without fingers, but the water still gives. It cleaves to our halting flight, opens at the touch of our bodies like a washcloth soothing fevered skin. Bullets of light pierce the surface of the sea, wash up memories late at night. And then, of course, a lot of us miss our guns. We remember, we forget. Our reflections stain the glass red. If my hands are cornflower and yours ochre, we could, together, create the color of seawater. Forget the idea of danger. In this world, there is no barrel, no gun. Let's lie together on the sand and watch men try to open pickle jars with their elbows. I can only remember how your fingers felt in mine, how they traced my skin. Open your hand. I will not shoot you. The water bruises silver with the memory of our skin. Thank you so much.
Well done. Thank you, Shira.
Very well. Wonderful.
You got the emojis flying all over the place too. Thank you so much. Cornelius, who was the next student? I wrote him down and I can't remember who it was. Sorry about that. Was it Sandra?
I'm not coordinating the reading, so.
No, that's fine.
Is there an order there to it? I don't know.
No, I just want to remember who the students were. That's all.
There she is.
There she is.
I can go.
You're up, Sandra. Sorry for all the confusion.
No, it's good. Thank you. I'm going to read two poems about my hometown in Mexico. The first one is called Saguayo Butchery Slaughterhouse. I was not a feral teen yet, not back then. Along the bend in the river where the tabaching trees grew and the split light of the sun rotted, I was only a girl. But a butcher turns into a butcher out of need and sorrow, and we lived in a ghost town back then. The day I first became a butcher, my grandfather incanted Santa Lucia's prayer softly in my ear as I beheaded a rabbit we later devoured in the back of the slaughterhouse. That day, he explained to me that to kill an animal can be sacred, if you do it right. We had cared for the rabbit for months, and he wanted us to consecrate every single part of its small body. I held its head in my hands, as I often did with the animals we killed back then. I thought it was the same size as the priscos we ate for days when Saguayo was first held under siege by a group of hungry, heartless men. I popped its eyes out as carefully as I could, washed them in the stream of the river, and one of the men passing by spat on the water while looking into my eyes. I should have held that omen in my palms back then. I should have known that men will burn their hometowns to the ground and never feel any regret, that butchers will be cruel to you even if they love you. Perhaps living in a callous city turned him into a cruel man, my grandfather, because I never heard him pray again. Each time he killed an animal, he would eat the meat and leave the bones and skin to rot. He learned of blades and knives and razors and often rejoiced in the animal's howls as he made me watch. I felt my chest ripen at that vicious sight. The siege lasted months on end, and he forgot all about sacredness. But being a butcher means that you sometimes are an animal, too, if you do it right. And animals understand of worship, will snarl and bite and tear through flesh in the name of devotion. So I decided to take the skin and offal and hold it tightly against my body. I would often walk to the river at dawn, covered in viscera, try to wash away his sins. I only stopped when the river of Saguayo was taken by the men who love to take and take and take. But I guess an animal cannot turn into anything else once it has known pain. So years later, when the men died and their bodies were found in the river, I bathed in the water with the bones and the guts and the remains of every animal my grandfather had once killed without an ounce of pity. For the men, I did not care much. Everything looked the same underwater. But that time, when I walked back to the butchery, I took a glass full of river water and poured it into my grandfather's coffee mug. He drank all of it, got bedsick for 2 weeks, and I only fed him the parts of animals he had discarded before. I learned that men are not faithful to their countries or even to their blood, and that a girl's homeland will always be her fury. Thank you. And the next one is called Cleaver, and it's also about my grandfather. I do not think about flesh anymore, but if I did, I will tell you about its adoration for cruelty. How my grandfather clenched firmly on my wrist the first time I held a cleaver to wound. How we killed the lamb together, and when it bleated loudly, I beat my tongue till it bled. How he then placed his hand tenderly against my cheek before sinking his nails into it. How he repented instinctively, cried out, "Perdóname, perdóname, corderita." How I was a witness of his violence, but a bearer of it too, and to bear is itself a way of devotion. How when he died, I wailed at his feet, repeating, "Yo también quiero aprender a ser cruel." How I have always longed to be the butcher's favorite animal to slaughter. Thank you.
Fantastic.
That was amazing, Sandra. Thank you so much.
Son, that was incredible.
Thank you, and thank you for thank you, Cornelius, for having us here.
Amazing. Amazing with Sandra.
Do you have a book out?
I don't, but I have a website that I'm gonna write in the chat.
Yes, please do.
Please do, because I'd like to have you read for Brownstones. I've sent you my email in the chat. Thank you.
I believe the next reader is Gabriel Reed. I could be wrong, but I think Gabriel was next.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gabriel.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me. It's such a joy and an honor. I've been working for like 4 years on a book length poem. So that's not really conducive to like 5 minutes, but I'm going to read 2 brief moments from it. I'm really excited. So thanks again. The first is called Tacit, which comes from musical notation and indicates a space where it's still played, but a certain instrument or voice is silent. Tacit, after Thomas Tranströmer. Thomas said he could draw a piano on a tablecloth and pressing the keys, hear the soft footsteps of a chord walking. Every time I sit here and try to write a letter to you, I can feel my hands disappear. My eyes follow the air as it unmakes my arms, like I am the bed beneath 2 invisible lovers. It's not that I am always unhappy, it's that my happiness is outside myself. Most days, my first thought is how dark your hair is in the dark, and those few times I am bold or sleepy enough to touch it, it fills my hands with heavy light, like a bell when the note opens its fist into a hand and reaches me on Sunday morning. But mostly, I wonder if you ever wake just to touch me too, or if the secret note in my body is waiting. The second is called Metamorphoses. I was around Lake Tahoe and I saw a coyote in a parking lot. How do you know a coyote isn't born from the air? Its eyes, the white first brush, a foam carrying a blue stream through 2 quick irises. And tonight I'm quiet again, walking alone. I find paw prints like breath and levitating cold, and I'm reminded of the story. The god trapped in a sealed chest, Seth and Osiris. I see sheets of white rainwater, and the chest carved wonders, maybe the birth of Whitewater, as the vessel twists through rivers, and he cries, maybe painted on the chest, a waterfall, black spring pansies. He is crying, and his brother will not hear him, lowing down this mountain where the currents blow on the stone's timid hands, and when they open, snow appears, and the chest strikes its green undertow, and I wonder, when was the last time I called my sister? When did we last hear one another? As the god's body breaks, green open water, an eye, a wrist, a tooth, a word in his eyes, each ribbon of his hair, a blue way back here forever, and a locket of these ribs surrounded by air, now flying, like 2 bright hands that bless you with an almost touch. And haven't I seen those eyes somewhere when we were children, sister? Remember, I held you, so afraid you would fall, and one blue eye hidden in my bent arm. I love you. I broke apart. Thanks so much.
Gabriel, thank you so much. And I want to thank Gabriel, Sandra, and Shira. I want to thank Cornelius and Patricia for being here this evening. Everybody, if you want to unmute and just say a few kind words and we'll get on with the open mic. But that was just brilliant all the way around. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
It's gorgeous.
Fabulous.
Thanks a lot.
That was unbelievable. All of it.
Yeah, I told you.
Yes, you did. Absolutely, man. Thank you.
Reading. Thank you, Cornelius, for bringing your students.
Thank
Absolutely.
them for coming.
Thank you. Honored
Very,
to read.
very strong work.
All the way around.
Yes.
Mhm.
So Cornelius, now that you've retired from U of T, can you take the rest of us on as your students?
I wish I could take credit for those 3, but really they're amazing. They're amazing voices, and
Yeah.
I'm happy to be lucky enough to cross their paths. So, yeah.
Thank you, everybody. That was spectacular. That's a great way to come back from a long summer. So thank you, everybody. Gabriel, Shira, Sandra, if you want to put any information in the chat, please feel free to do so. Like I said, you're raising emojis and there's plenty of chat in there about you guys. So please take advantage of it if you can. If there's one thing that the CAPS community is, it is supportive. So thank you all. And thank you, Patricia and Cornelius, especially. All right, before we begin the open mic, which is going to be one poem apiece, folks, because we got a long list. I just want to remind everybody that on September 18th from Alabama, Matthew Blaine will be reading for us. And on October 3rd, we have David Hutchinson, Will Nixon, and Hannah Webster as our featured readers. Everything is on Zoom, so register at the website. And CAPS is because you are. So let us continue. Our first reader on the open mic coming from Maryland, Elizabeth Lara.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. All right. So I'm just going to read one really short poem since you said there's a very long list. So that'll give people a chance. Hera at the bus stop. This is a story from my family. Hera at the bus stop. My grandfather was a man of little conversation, though you could say that he was Zeus, and Mrs. Walton was Io, because in some corner of their small town, they found a way to talk. And that day when my grandmother, you could say she was Hera, all perfumed and hatted and dressed to go to town, was waiting for the bus. He must have been away at work or in his easy chair playing cards, for he wasn't there to see my grandmother's purse coming down on Mrs. Walton's head, scattering her hairpins across the sidewalk and knocking off her spectacles, or hear the gasps of passengers on the city bus who gawked at the tangle of torn bodices and sturdy shoes until the driver slammed the door and drove on. Thank you.
Torn bodices and sturdy shoes. Wow.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Please join us again whenever you can.
Okay, thank you.
Our next open micer, new to CAPS, Catherine Gonick, you're up. Catherine, you there?
Okay, I have unmuted. This poem is part of a series which has sort of been going on for a while, and I don't know where it's going. Losing Jesus. The day I first saw him as only a man, his ivory body remained on the cross, but the God he'd been disappeared. I ran after him, but he had a head start, and I couldn't catch up. Down a rabbit hole I went like Alice, searched a mossy trail like Gretel who'd lost Hansel. I wanted to ask where he was headed and who was going to save me now. I couldn't stop, though I might have passed him hiding in a bush. He was like a dream I knew I'd had, but couldn't remember. And who was his father? The old God of the Jews or the later one of Christians? Further down the rocky trail, I saw him emerge from a deep, steaming pit, wearing only a necklace of lettuce, his brown body glistening with sweat. His mother was Ishtar. Who was his father? He winked at me, and I knew this wasn't his last manifestation. He was too famous to ignore or forget. Albert Schweitzer said, everyone has their own Jesus. Many ask, what would he do? I asked what to do with Jesus. He was my lost keystone of a broken arch, a wavering image I couldn't hold in continuous focus that intermittently flashed. He wouldn't stay still. He was restless, had scampered. He was a stubborn satellite circling Earth, raining debris. He was a problem I couldn't resolve, a hole in my center, and I was another.
Thank you, Catherine. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I don't have the 2026 schedule with me, but somewhere along the line, I know Catherine's going to be featuring for us. So but that's next year. So we'll work that out. Thank you again, Catherine. Jim Zimmerman, you're up.
Hi. There we are. Just wanted to say how wonderful the poetry has been so far tonight. It's always a pleasure. I'm going to read a poem from my upcoming book that should be coming out in January, February. This poem is about an encounter while kayaking with a loon. It's called The Loon God of Megunticook Lake. You think at first I am simply a black dot woven into the mirage of waveless water, a rock, the head of a beaver, a discarded can of beer. But come closer, I will not flee, afraid, to the safety of a distant sky. No, I will turn to you, show the speckled black and white of my wings, my back a perfect Audubon sketch, reflecting the sun's glint on the skin of the lake. Around my neck, a lace Elizabethan collar, etching of a stand of birch, silver white on the black of my head, my eye a ruby stud, the regal curve of my beak. You are in my world now, not I in yours, my bob and drift, ripple and wake. You cannot know where I will reappear when I slide into the water's womb. Like a thought slipping into mind, I reemerge in a lily pad tangle, the gulp and belch songs of hidden bullfrogs. Then again fade into algaic murk, flash beneath you a torpedo, drive a school of chum to riffle the glassy surface, break the silence 30 yards away, laughing. After all, you named your insanity to honor my haunting call, harbinger of dusk and fog, your lunate fantasy of who I am. But come closer, swim with me, dive with me, and I will restore your sacred visions, amniotic memories, the wildness of your dreams. Thank you.
Beautifully.
Lunate fantasy, indeed. Yeah, perfect Audubon sketch.
Thank you, Jim. I also want to thank you for your recent membership. Thank you very much. Tom Nolan, you're next. Tom, you still with us?
He's here.
There he is. I see him. There he is.
Muted. Tom, you're muted. So we can't hear you yet.
We see you're talking, but we can't hear you.
It looks like a Zoom issue, that you've muted yourself on Zoom. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, he's frozen now. Tom, we'll come back to you, buddy. Margie, would you like to read next? All right. Isn't Zoom wonderful?
There. Okay.
Tom,
Am I up?
Tom, we'll be right back. We're going to let Margie read next. You figure out what's going on.
Okay, I think, am I unmuted now?
Yes, but we're going to let Margie go next and then you.
Outstanding.
Okay, go ahead, Margie.
Okay. So this I just wrote today. So it is, raw, and I don't know where I want to go with it, but it's called So Close. Where did my thoughts go? They were here just a minute ago. It's perfectly wonderful to let my drooping eyes close. So Oh, I'm sorry, right. The name of the poem is so close. Where did my thoughts go? They were here just a minute ago. It's perfectly wonderful to let my drooping eyes close. So close to sleep, surrender. So close to letting my mind ramble amongst the bounty of thoughts, images, to-do lists of purposeful projects I intend to complete. So full of fluid images, so full of low love notes. And then so full of future dread about the American scene, the way it is exhibiting cataclysms, so close to the edge, so brazen in its decadence, decay, and sordid debris. Too close. My thoughts have turned against me, too full of a reality drumbeat that beats out dreaded, diseased mindscapes. Too close. Let me go. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you, Margie. You've got the emojis flying also, so thank you very much. Tom Nolan, as I promised.
Yes, I'm back with sound.
Go, buddy.
I've got one I call the right word. The right word can take an idea and make it sing or dance or burrow or fly, all the while pulling the reader along. The right word transforms the most mundane thought into the brushstroke that completes a masterpiece. The right word grabs us by the imagination, transporting us to other times or other universes. The right word makes the story flow and the reader eager for more. Every good writer knows this. Your job, good writer, is to reach into your lexicon blindfolded and extract the right damned word.
Thank you, Tom. Always good to see you, man.
That's awesome.
Damn word, exactly.
Yeah. If you got time at the end, Mike.
Yep.
There's one I'd like to recite that wasn't written by me. It was Kendra LaSalle's.
All right, let's see what we can do. Let's figure.
Okay.
Let's let everybody go first. Kim Brandon, you're next. Kim Brandon, you're next. And good to see you again.
Thank you. This poem is called Give the Writer Some. I stand with one foot in tomorrow. My desk is cluttered with half-eaten, half-finished, half-loved, half-written halves. Little brown squirrel that is my brain wants so much to help me to thrive. Always saying, stop that, let's do this now. Stop that, let's do this now. Not knowing what mothering feels like, the little brown squirrel announces that, I'll do it with you, Kim, I'll do it with you. Remember who loves you. I got you, Kim, I got you, Kim, the little brown squirrel says. Let's paint an ocean blue. Only the squirrel wants to make everything blue, and then in the next breath says, no, 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 let's make it green. Before the paint hits the brush, my little squirrel wants to teach me to tap dance, wants me to Google where to get tap dance shoes on the cheek. It's when a little brown squirrel throws sand on the wooden floor and says, challenge. The squirrel does a little dance and then yells again, challenge, like she's taught me something. I don't know how to turn her off. I beg her, let's not start anything new. Let's switch from some old writing to some old writing to some old writing until something is complete. Please? She's mad now, y'all. Got her feelings all uptight. Talking about that time she saved me from losing my own damn light. She calls me ungrateful. She says she's been running this route before I knew my ABCs. She says it was a flip. She says it with the flip of the tongue. This says, shut the hell up, Kim Kim. I try another approach. I say, hey, hey, squirrel. I say, hey, you know what I need? She slows down a tenth of a second, chomping on a bit of a peanut that she's eating out of the shell. She says, what you need, Kim, Kim, what you need, what you need, what you need, Kim, Kim, what you need, what you need, what you need, what you need, Kim, Kim, I got you, what you need. I want to say, I need you to slow the hell down. I bite my tongue. I ask her if she could run downtown without me. She says, sure, what you need, what you need, what you need. I tell her I need new bedding. I know it's too heavy for her to carry. I know she will not think this through. This fact will not come to her until she has purchased the bedding and is forced to drag it out of the store into a cab, out of the cab and ring the bell. I'll not answer the door. That should buy me a few hours of peace and quiet. She may never realize that she's been tricked and will take the time to soothe and comfort my writing. I'll finish that poem, that blue, green, red, hot, sexy one. Only I'll remove all those blue and green lines, take all that choppiness out. It'll flow and then it'll sizzle. I'll put my feet up. I'll listen to singers like Odetta and India Irie. I sing along. The squirrel returns home, exhausted. I'll pick her up too, make a place for her to rest. She will be tired, her fur wet, sweaty, laying down on her face. We love each other like this. Every day now I say, you know what I need? And she says, what you need, Kim? Kim, what you need? What you need, Kim? Kim, what you need? I ask her if she could go back downtown and return all that bedding. That helps me to get some writing done. Only this time, she says in a small, calm voice that I have never heard before, would you mind terribly if I get a good night's sleep? And she starts the first thing and start this over the first thing in the morning. She says she's been sleeping a lot lately. She's been slowing down. She smiles more. We sleep and we write and we write and we sleep. And sometimes my little squirrel sits over on my shoulder and she asks me to change the lines. She asks me to write stories about her set in the Congo. She doesn't like the poetry. She only wants stories about her. Then she says, hey, Kim, you know what I think? I think we should start painting. Hell with all this writing. I ask her if she wants to help me. And she says, yeah, what you need, Kim? I say, hey. She said, wait. As long as it doesn't have anything to do with sheets. Because if you need any sheets or a comforter or a matching pillow, anything like that from downtown, Kim, I'm the wrong squirrel. Thank you.
Awesome.
It is awesome.
Well, if I had to share a brain with anybody, I'm glad I share it with Kim. Thank you, dear.
It was great. Well,
and Brandon,
What
everybody.
wonderful, wonderful, Kim.
Driven and
Thank
so
you.
we can't keep up. And you inhabit a space there. You do. You inhabit a authorial space that is absolutely fantastic. I don't know. You found a zone, and it resonates with me. Every line, every sound of what you just read. Just say it. Just say it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you. I need some cleaning up, but thank you.
The one, the only Mr. Brian Liston. You're up, buddy.
Thanks, Mike. I just want to say to all the poets out there, wonderful job. Just a pleasure to hear. This one's actually going to be this is my one poem that I actually wrote a couple of minutes ago, and this one is all about current events. Like I don't know about you, but I've been talking a lot. I've been seeing a lot about the news and what's been going on. So this one is going to be about diagnosis. Diagnosis, size, stubbornness, incompetence, incontinent, cruel, as we all wait for true justice, payback. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks.
Who's next? Ken Holland, you're up, buddy.
Okie dokie. So this poem was actually just picked up by one of the journals. It's called Breach. You're blowing black smoke from out back of the car. The tailpipe like the thick nib of a fountain pen, scrawling its toxic signature across the sky. On the right, you're passing through one part of the Western Apache Nation, while on the left, corporate America is looking to blast away all that heritage to get at the copper that lies beneath. The same copper that comprises the very wiring running up to your headlights. How all that illumination is sourced in the scarring of something sacred. And you know little enough of your own God, let alone someone else's. And when your mother asked you, do you believe? You said to her, in what? And were sorry for the sadness you brought to her eyes. Years ago, how the only indigenous claims you have on this country are the bodies you've buried beneath it. White skin, black soil, headstones that themselves claim baseless ownership to the land, though the names could never be chiseled deep enough to last. Everything returns to the earth, no matter what we pull from it, no matter how much the machinery digs into what's buried. Nothing lasts except the kind of myth you're not entitled to, which you couldn't possibly embody. Myth as ambiguous as the black smoke blowing out the back of your car. All that darkness burrowing in to the darker breach of the night. Thank you. Amazing readers this evening.
Oh, yeah, that was so good.
Count yourself among them, my friend.
That was really good.
Thank you, Ken. All right, let's see, where are we? Jospehine Law, you're next.
Thank you. And it's Lorraine. I'm coming to you
Hi.
guys from Canada, Calgary. And I usually do a short acknowledgement. So I live on lands that were traditionally inhabited and traversed by a number of different Indigenous groups, whom I would like to acknowledge: the Piikani, Tsuut'ina, Nakota, Kainai, and Siksika. I want to thank them for having brought culture, language, and poetry to the land. So I'm reading from my new collection, The Moon and All Her Faces. From the section of Winter Moon. And the collection is dedicated to my mother, and this poem is called Lessons. A single raven feather, fallen from slate sky, presage to the storm. Crest of ice, shimmering pond, songless winter dawn. The wisdom of grandmother, a veil across the wizened face of the moon. And this evening, a bobcat crossed my path, eyes coaxing me toward wilderness, I not yet ready to follow. In the end, grandmother no longer remembered any of our names. Having children, lesson 1 in letting go. In the beginning, prime numbers, then stirrings, somersaults, an elbow, jutting knee, the relinquishing. And now I nurture my own mother. The flame of her hair faded to spun gold. Her mind a sticky web, misremembered, ransomed future. I lather her soft shoulders as she sits in the bath, scapular wings preparing to take flight. Thank you, and wonderful reading tonight.
Excellent, Jospehine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jospehine. And I'm also happy to say that after about a year or so of going back and forth, Jospehine will be joining us as a featured reader in 2026. I don't remember what date, but we'll get to that eventually. So thank you, Jospehine, for coming by today. Cindy Hockman, you're next.
Okay, I had put down maybe, but I think it's turned to a yes because you were so definitive about calling my name. So I'm gonna plug my last book it's called Telling You Everything. And I'm going to read the title poem called Telling You Everything. It's a short prose poem, and it starts off with an epigraph by Charles Simic, the great Charles Simic, who said, "Be brief and tell us everything." So that's what I tried to do. I am all moan and bone and dangling participles. I am all pipes and drums, but no voice box. My body is hamstrung and jagged. I am a bellyful of barren. These days, I have become nothing but chocolate bars and razor blades. Thank you.
Cindy Hockman, everybody. Good to see you, Cindy. Thanks for coming by.
Good. Wow. What a night we're having tonight.
All right, let's bounce from New York down to Texas. John Bartell, you're up, buddy.
All right, thank you. I have a short poem. Nobody seems to want to publish it, but I like it, so here we go. It's called Solo. Campfire smoke hangs in the air, diffusing through boughs of oak, her ceiling in the woods. Lit cigarette between two fingers, empty coffee mug at her feet. She inhales, smoke escapes and rises. It would be nice if he were here in the morning, with a cup of coffee and a story about his boyhood. But today, a cigarette will do. Thank you.
Elegant. That's an elegant poem.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, John. John will also be featuring for us in 2026.
Yep.
Mr. Ron Bremner, if you're still with us, you're up.
Okay. Yeah, I thought of doing one of my Monk or Miles poems, but the jazz poetry has been so fabulous tonight. I don't want to go near it. So this poem was published twice because I forgot that it was published 10 years ago. So here it is. Oh, I lost it. I'll do something else. Chilly was the morn. I kissed the lips of the sun. Afternoon smoldered. And if I can do a second haiku, an omen of light snuggles in the breast of night before dawn wakes her. Thank you and have a pleasant evening.
Always good to see you, Ron. Thank you, buddy.
It's the lips of the sun. That's really wonderful. Oh,
Sam Hardy, I know you're out there somewhere.
Yep, I'm right here. Is it already my turn?
Yes, indeedy.
All right, then. So I probably mentioned it before, but I've just completed writing a book for survivors of sexual assault. Don't have a publisher yet. I don't know how long that's going to take, but I had too many poems in it, so I pulled one out randomly, and I decided to submit it to a contest, and I won $200.
God bless you.
And then I submitted it to a magazine, and they accepted it. So it must be a pretty good poem. I mean, you know, I was surprised. So I'll give you a content warning. It's very mild. It's a very mild content warning. But it's called How a Girl Disappears.
Gotcha. Go for it.
Start by swallowing the words. Hold them behind your teeth until your jaw aches. Learn to taste blood when you bite down on help. Fold your shoulders inward so no one can see the curve of your spine. Press your knees together so tightly you forget how to run. Watch your hands tremble in your lap. Imagine they belong to somebody else. A girl who still laughs in open fields. A girl you can't remember being. Avoid mirrors. If you must look, blur your eyes. Count each bruise like a secret star chart. Name them after all the apologies you never got. Listen for his footsteps, the door creak, the hush before danger. Train your body to freeze before the threat even arrives. Shrink your voice into a whisper, then into a silent nod, and okay when you must say yes without moving your lips. With each passing day, forget the taste of birthday cake, the softness of your favorite stuffed bear, the way your name used to sound when someone called it with love. Make yourself so small you can slip behind curtains, into closets, into the space between heartbeats. If you do it right, you'll become an outline, a ghost in your own bed, a girl-shaped silence no one can hear scream. Thank you.
Oh my God, Sam, you have me crying here. I am totally in sync with what you just read. And I hope that we can feature you soon here on Caps.
Very bold work, Sam. Thank you so much.
Bold and beautiful.
Thank you, Sam.
Perry Nicholas, would you like to read? If you're still with us. Perry, don't be shy. Is Perry still with us? Or did he cop out? Can't tell. All right. Let's
I think he's gone.
okay.
Let's see.
Michael McInerney, would you like to join us? Would you like to do an open micer?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Go for it.
All right, sir. This begins with a quote from Herbie Hancock. All you have to do is play one note, but it has to be the right note. What are you doing here? Demands my very first college boyfriend after he slides his sandaled foot beneath the adjacent stall partition wall. I'm pretty sure that's right before, in a classical Pavlovian response, I sleep with his roommate. My God, you're a B word. Hands mimic the rise and fall of the scales of justice until they come to a balanced rest and smile. Sometimes, when I am the other woman, I am the haven't a clue other, and other times, the haven't a care. Situational ethics shadow me as a faithful chorus of faithless loves hollows the thumbprints of a sawdust tree. And the hands of Herbie Hancock gently mock and soothe toward a violet acquiescence of play, share, create. And that inside voice I rarely hear narrates a slideshow of perp walks and mugshots to the tune of Hancock's own transfiguration within the second movement of Ravel's concerto. While the trees chide, will your branches always bear? Who is it that answers? Let's pretend. It's the wind whispering only slightly off key, right where the flute, or maybe the reeds, sing. The right note. The right note. One note at a time.
Beautiful, Michael.
Thank you, Michael, as always.
Wow, that was beautiful.
And I'm happy to say Michael will be joining us in 2026 also. So it's kind of like a preamble to next year, whatever's going on tonight. Stephen Roberts, you're next.
Okay, well, I'm going to read something about Jaco Pastorius. I think I've read this before, but I had written this in Afa Weaver's craft class. So it's called Donna Lee. Jaco is playing on the radio. I feel the syncopated glide of his bass. It makes me sad to think of him, beaten to death outside a bar. I saw him once at Forest Hills, backing Joni Mitchell on her tour. For his solo, he laid a line, recorded it, and looped it over and again so he could riff on top. I wish that I could loop some pleasant moment from my past, repeating it eternally, and let it be the underlying rhythm that I could improvise my melody around. I think I'd pick the day that I undressed you the first time, when everything was new. The color of your eyes before you closed them, the taste of wine that graced your lips, and my up-tempo heart when we embraced that let me feel the possibility of joy. I'd pick that moment and not the day you left, but goodbye is all I hear as a refrain. It makes me think of Jocko once again, drunk and staggering and strung out on horse, standing outside a bar that will not let him in, picking a fight he knows he will not win. Thanks.
Thank you, Stephen. Stephen will be our final feature for the year sometime whatever the last Thursday in December is. I can't remember the date, but he will be there with us. So thank you, Stephen. Bob Heman, you're next.
Okay, this is a short one. One can climb without being taught. One can sing or count or identify the animals. The tree is always a way of hiding the sky, of listening to the air. Thank you.
No, thank you, Bob. Thank you very much.
Oh, one can climb without being taught. Hear, hear.
Our next open micer, the one, the only, the irrepressible Amanda Russell. You're up, Miranda.
Okay, I'm gonna read this one. All right, and okay, just it's got a quote from Louise Glick's "The Wild Iris," the poem, not the book, but the poem in the book. It's tentatively called "A Song of Experience." Cinderella knows one wrong step and vultures rip meat from carrion as your coach becomes pumpkin. Mice scatter, like all the possible paths from this ditch thick with elephant ears and fire ants. Only midnight has the heart to cast shadows around the wings of children, force the lessons why Shackelford is buried next to Shackelford, and pines don't drop needles on purpose, and purpose is a compass with an arrow for a needle. It aims where the archer casts the eye. I watched my grandmother like she was a lighthouse. We all know what light does, but she stirred biscuits with a wooden spoon, used the oven to heat the living room. Why wave at the log house now, as if that driveway was not the nail in the heel of a glass slipper? Cinderella was tired. She trimmed the white crepe myrtles with her father's chainsaw, severed budding limbs and dragged them to the burn pile. Fire mounded like ants and picked the labor clean as ribs, then ground it to ashes. One Halloween, Cinderella dressed her rose hips in my skinny jeans, birthed a pair of glass slippers who shattered. In a patch of white stones, that which you call death, I remember, said the wild iris to the one at the well of glittering water. I wished until I got back, one glass slipper with blue eyes and another with a broken collarbone. I safety pinned the long sleeve of a tiny pink shirt to its shirt front to make of it a cast. It took the cast to break the spell. Thank you.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful, Amanda. This is Greg. I'm saying to you, this is like one of the epic nights of caps. And you just continue to raise the bar. That was beautiful.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, everybody.
Yes, this is one of the amazing nights. And let's welcome, I think for the first time on a CAP Zoom, Mr. Ted Millar. Ted, you're up, buddy.
Okay, thanks. This one is called Coming Home with Prozac. Well, we did it. We capitulated to the psychiatrist's recommendation and filled the prescription for our daughter we swore we wouldn't. Starting tomorrow morning, there will be a medicated teenager in the house. With all the claims the past 6 months, the folks at Aetna had to have known this moment was coming. In the 6 minutes it's going to take me to drive home, I'll have convinced myself of a dozen ways my wife and I failed. Those families on the signs in the pharmacy promoting Mental Health Awareness Month always look so happy. Thanks.
Thank you, Ted.
Feel free to come back to CAPS anytime. You can't imagine how much resonance there is in what your vivid firsthand experience poetry means.
Oh, thank you. I plan on coming more.
Ted, you did an amazing job.
Yeah, by me and several others.
Thanks, Ted. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Joan, did you want to read something? Joan Goodman.
Yes,
Go for it.
but I must say I'm quite abashed by the incredible power of the poems this evening. So I almost hesitated to say yes, but here's one that even Greg hasn't heard yet. It's called Autumnal. Insane yellow laughs down from trees, bordering on collapse of time and patience. Empires lost for the lack of heart, murderous red pages ripped from the book of life on the edge of reason. Brilliance cast like pearls at the feet of pride. I wait for sense to return to your lips. The blush is gone. Speech has wrung my throat dry, incredulous, that this season brings no fall of faith, but death of desire.
Beautifully done. Thank you, Joan.
Thank you.
All right, before I bring on our last two open micers, which just so happen to be Greg and I want to remind everybody that we will be back on third Thursday, September 18th with Matthew Lane, and on October 3rd with David Hutchinson, Will Nixon, Hannah Webster. So if you can join us, please do. Everything's on Zoom, so register at the website or enter, it's not a contest. Put your name in for the email blast and you'll get the Zoom invite. Our next open micer just so happens to be me. This is a relatively new one and it's called Surrounded by Bunting. He was the kind of guy who wasn't at all. A random primate at best, surrounded by bunting and Arbor Day signs, whose bravado outpaced his artistry, whose painterly eye wandered off canvas like it does for The Last of Us from way back before the Who first retired, before the first coup began. The shiny city on the hill, a PR man's gaudy distraction. 'Cause you fall for any contingent when you're blameworthy, and who isn't folly's live-in nurse? Scullery maid, cleaning bedpans night and day. The Kaczynski line across his lawn. He was that type of guy. Yeah. All right, our next open micer for the evening, our last open micer for the evening is Mr. Greg Correll, the man behind the AI curtain. There he goes.
Okay. This is a poem called Path. Purling, gurgling brooklets quench our thirst. The hook of the moon, the gold star of Venus. We have, as we say, left the wrong and followed the right. A path both straight and serpentine. This path is buffo, a comedy of comedy. Deadly serious, the chiliocosm depends on us. In the wings of the stage are sages uproarious, and I am rocked to my roots. My poles quake. In hell, bull chases horse to wear the nimbus and the crown. My confidence is clammy, shrinks from bright light, unyielding to the vulgar tide, climbing up the cascading water, outdistancing eyes. A small wind rouses the cold. I am a ripple in a river of darkness. I am revealed. No easy outs.
The one, the only Mr. Greg Correll. Thank you, buddy. Please, everybody unmute. I want to thank Cornelius, Patricia, Shira, Sandra, and Gabriel for your wonderful work and features tonight. Thank you so much. Like Greg said, this was one of the epic ones. I do need to say that for whatever reason, Facebook rejected us being live today, but we will download the Zoom onto the YouTube page and the Facebook page. So Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, tonight will be up online for everybody to see. So thank you, everyone. Say a few kind words, and thanks for being here.
Amazing work, guys. Amazing work.
Just an amazing night.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you.
Yay, Patty.
Take care, everyone.
Happy birthday, Cindy!
Happy
Yeah. Now I
Wonderful job,
feel like
guys.
I'm 100 years old.
That's wonderful.
Doing pretty good, damn it.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks so
Good
much.
night,
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Everybody,
Have
thanks
a
for
great
coming.
weekend, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Cornelius, Patricia, Joan, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Incredible night.
Thanks.
Good night, folks.
Take care,
Night.
Bob.
Did anybody else have a problem getting to the tip jar tonight? I could not find the tip jar.
I have no idea how that works.
Yeah, I don't either. I have to find a way to make another contribution, and I wasn't sure how. You want to give us a hint next time or something like that?
PayPal? Do you take PayPal?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the PayPal, the Cap's PayPal in the chat.
Okay.
Do that.
Thank you.
Bye.
It's not necessary.
There you go. It's
Thank
up there. I want to thank everybody for their support and their poetry and their community. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Right. Thanks so much.
Good night.
Give us a moment to get that. I'm going to copy that link.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Keep writing, everybody.
Great, everybody. Great open. Great, everybody was fabulous. This was a very good one, Mike. One of your best.
It was extraordinary, really extraordinary.
And you were all part of it, so give yourselves a hand.
Yeah, oh, it's fabulous. I mean, that's like, hello.
Good night.
Take care, everyone.
Hey.